How's it going, everyone? This is Epic Meat, and folks, as of today, we are officially 1 year away from the release of Paw Patrol: The Mighty Movie, the anticipated sequel to Paw Patrol: The Movie, released back in 2021. The first film was one of the more surprising films of the year, as not many expected it to be as good as it was, and the end result showed, with its amount gained at the box office being $100 million over its initial budget, plus good reviews from the fandom both inside and out. So much so a sequel was inevitable to happen, which it got revealed last November, and it was surprising because nobody expected it to be this soon. Maybe another year or two to an announcement, but just a few months removed from the first movie. Yeah, it was surprising. And since the reveal, we've gotten a lot more info on the sequel than we did for the first movie at this point, back in 2020. The plot being leaked, the main character, a few VA confirmations, and a new villain all within the last year, when we had little to nothing at this point in 2020. So for today, I want to run back through everything we know so far about the Mighty Movie, even some new stuff within the past few weeks, and some further thoughts I have in regard to these, because like most of you, I'm looking forward to this film as well, but there are some concerns that I have regarding it as well. I'll explain more later in the vid. Besides that, let's waste no time. So to start off, the Mighty Movie will release in theaters on October 13th, 2023, a year from today. The film will feature the Mighty Pups getting their powers for the first time, again. From what it seems, the film will be a reboot of the Mighty Pups series, separate from the TV movie, the Super Paws, and Charged Up sub-series. The film is going to focus on Skye, who, for her, getting her powers is a dream come true, and will need to learn that even the smallest individuals can make the biggest difference. All the while, Mayor Humdinger breaks out of prison and teams up with a meteor-obsessed mad scientist named Victoria Vance, who plans to steal the powers to turn herself and Humdinger into supervillains. Cal Brunker and Bob Barlin, two key assets from the first film, are returning for the second go-around. Micros Animation, who was behind the stunning animation from the first movie, is back as well. Along with this, we got an updated poster for the Mighty Movie a few months back, showing off the logo for the film with the original Paw Patrol logo in the front, sporting an orangish color around the base, plus the Mighty Meteor with the pups' individual powers glowing in certain sections, with Skye and presumably Humdinger and Victoria Vance taking the most area towards the bottom of the meteor, with the Mighty Movie text just underneath it. So far, in terms of cast, what we know is that two are fully confirmed to be in the film. Kim Kardashian, who voiced Dolores, is the only celebrity voice actor to confirm she is reprising her role from the first film. The second is Taraji Henson, who was announced a few months back. It is unknown as to who she will be voicing, however, it's most likely going to be Victoria Vance, as of this statement she released with her announcement that she was involved in the sequel. Her character is going to throw some challenges at the pups that they must unite to overcome, possibly hinting to a villain character, most likely Vance. Plus, she has experience with voicing villain characters as of recent. She voiced Bell Bottom in Minions: Rise of Gru, which she did well in, so Vance seems like a good fit with her. So that's all the stuff we know so far that is confirmed for the sequel. Now let's discuss about the new stuff, mostly in terms of cast. And take most of this new stuff I'm going to mention here with a grain of salt. This isn't confirmed as of yet. So to start off, if you go onto Google and search up the cast for the Mighty Movie, most of what you'll see is the cast from the first film. Only exception is Randall Park, who voiced Butch in the first film, and again only Taraji Henson and Kim Kardashian has been confirmed for this cast as of now. The rest are yet to be determined. But out of all these VAs, there is one person that stands out more than others. Can you guess who it is? That would be Berkeley Silverman, who is the current voice actor for Everest. Again, we don't know if she'll be in it, but if she does, it would make sense to carry her over to this film, because she was one of the original Mighty Pups in the first TV movie, and in the sequel, the pups get their powers for the first time, again. There's a good amount, myself included, that would like to see her and Tracker appear again in the theatrical movies, just to see them in this new style of animation, plus Everest, or for both her and Tracker to meet Liberty, which would be nice to see. Now to the other side of things, let's move over to imdb.com. Now, a reminder that these pages can be edited by anyone as long as you have an account, but that doesn't mean it's not reliable. It was this source that pointed out that Monique Alvarez was voicing Carmen in the first movie. You all remember her, right? The shop owner? You probably didn't until I just mentioned it. Anyway, the Mighty Movie page was updated recently with all the celebrity cast members from the first film, plus a few additional cast members. Again, take this with a grain of salt, and I'm a bit skeptical and intrigued with some of these selections. So let's start with these two, Jeremy Clarkson and James May. These two are well known for the show Top Gear, more specifically the British version and currently Grand Tour. I'm surprised that these two are on it but not Richard Hammond, which would complete the trio if he did appear. I wish he'd be in this for reasons.
Hammond, we can't, there's nothing to be gained by Hammond, you idiot! You reversed into the sports lorry! No, you've my lorry. You've broken it.
I didn't know genuinely that was an accident.
Don't just drive off, Hammond! Hammond!
Next up, we have Ashley Ball. You may know her for a role as Applejack and Rainbow Dash from My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic, but she isn't the only MLP voice actor in this cast list. Michelle Kreber, Claire Corlett, and Madeline Peters all voice characters on Friendship is Magic, the three Cutie Mark Crusaders respectively, my favorite group of the show. Kreber voices Apple Bloom, Corlett voices Sweetie Belle, and Peters voices Scootaloo. And finally, the last three are Kathleen Hairless, Harrison Chad, and J.T. Austin, who are all connected to the Dora Explorer series. Kathleen Hairless was the original voice of Dora, Harrison Chad was the OG voice for Boots, and J.T. Austin was the OG voice for Diego. Again, I'm not convinced that on most of the new actors we're seeing in this list being in the movie, it will be best to wait until Spin Master or the Paw Patrol movie Twitter account makes an announcement in regards to the cast list. I can see some characters from the first movie return, like Liberty, Butch, Ruben, Marty Muckraker. Those guys make sense. However, characters like Kendra Wilson and Gus have done their time, and I don't see what more they could do in the second film. Maybe Kendra could know Victoria Vance, since they're both scientists. Could be an impact on Victoria Vance's past if she gets one, which will be unlikely, possibly. Okay, finally, let me put my perspective on what we've seen so far. The one aspect I'll be looking forward to most from the film is, of course, the animation. And with Micros back on board, I'm interested to see how good the pup's powers will look in the new animation style. Plus, more destruction the animators could cause after all the elements they included within the first film, such as building collapses, fires, and explosions. What can they do to top that? The action you can throw in there as well. I thought the first movie did well in that aspect, and considering how the Mighty Pups TV movie took the action to the next level, could the Mighty movie do the same? Plus, Cal Brunker and co. got a good amount of creative freedom from Spin Master when making the first movie, and they really pushed the G rating to its limit. If this movie is going to come close to what the first did, Nick and Spin Master have to give the same amount of freedom that they did the first time around. I'm also interested to see what they end up doing with Victoria Vance in terms of her character development. Liberty was pretty well done as a new character in the first film. Imagine what they could do with Vance. The human female villains so far in the series have not been the best. But hey, they say third time's the charm. Plus, you may have Taraji Henson voicing Vance. This could go well if they play the cards right. Let's now move on to some concerns I have for this film. Mighty Pups itself. I say this countless times, Paw Patrol is a merch-based show. It's been that way since the beginning, and it always will be. I figured when Spin Master and Nick saw how successful the first film was, they would waste no time and bring out the old cow from the stable and milk it dry one last time, this being Mighty Pups. I would have said that if it wasn't for Brunker stating that he and his team made that decision, and promises the Mighty movie to look better than the first. I trust Cal, but this is a lot of pressure being put on already, and I'm interested to see if this holds. But we're not done with Mighty Pups yet. There's a bigger concern looming. But we're not done with Mighty Pups yet. There's a bigger concern looming. Copy and paste. I made a vid on this last year, right after we got the sequel announcement, and while some of my thoughts have been leveled, this is still something to keep a watch on. This is an issue with doing something that's already been done before in the past. Finding a way to top the first iteration, plus an idea that's already been done well once before, and making something more original than the first time around. Considering this is a reboot story for Mighty Pups from the beginning, it could play out somewhat similar in terms of aspects. Of course, the Vance and Humdinger teaming up, being a replica of the Harold and Humdinger teaming up, capturing the pups, Ryder getting captured, a giant robot at the end. It seems inevitable this will happen. Point is, I'm fine with Mighty Pups as the sequel focus, though I would have preferred the newer vehicles and gear from what we got in the first film and continuing it from there. But this is the path Bronker has chosen. I just want an original story for the Mighty Pups reboot. Something different from what the TV movie produced. And that brings me to my next point. The plot itself, more specifically the moral. In the first movie, Chase faces his fears in Adventure City due to his past. This was done for the plot of the film, yes, but they made it work, due to this being Adventure City's first appearance in the entirety of Paw Patrol, and working it around him, which was easy. Now for the Mighty movie, Skye will have to learn that the smallest individuals can make the biggest difference. While it may not seem like much on the surface, once we dive under you'll see sort of the issues. The big question of course is why? Why will she have to learn this moral? What causes her to think that way? Because she is small and she can't be big of an effect. I hope that it's not about her being insecure about her size, because in my opinion that wouldn't be good for her character in general. Considering the first movie and even the entire series, she's never had an issue with this before. Heck, she kamikaze the Cloudcatcher without a problem. How do you go from that to this in less than one movie? The plot is the reason why. For the entire series, continuity consistency occasionally exists, because it's a show for preschoolers. They're not going to remember this event and how it connects to another event, and plus they don't have to go all out with the consistency the writers do. But for this film, the way Skye feels, this is for the moral, which is going to be towards kids. We as older fans want to have some form of consistency with the characters, but we're not the target audience, and that's how it's going to be. Plus, the whole moral thing could affect if Skye ends up getting a backstory or not, because with Chase's, it was easier to do because of his fear, and when there's a fear, it begins with a why. Why is he or she fearing this? And it was due to Chase's past. With Skye, it's harder to do with what we have now. The smallest pup making a bigger difference seems to be a bit harder to do a backstory on. Speaking of Skye, I'm fearing that her voice actor Lily Bartleman is going to get replaced for this upcoming film by someone else. Maybe a younger celebrity VA, the same way that Chase and Ryder were for the first movie. I was a bit iffy on Chase being voiced by Ian Armitage, but it was tolerable, and I thought Brisbane did a good job portraying an older Ryder. With Skye though, Bartleman is coming to her prime as the character, and soon enough she'll be replaced eventually. While she doesn't give that personality that Kaywin Hawley did with Skye in the earlier seasons, I still like what Bartleman's provided, and I would hate to see her get replaced by someone else specifically for this film. But I feel like they're going to replace her anyway with a younger celebrity VA that could provide more moviegoers to watch the film because she is voicing the main character, driving up sales, the same way that Kim Kardashian does. But anyway, that's all for now. I know I was a bit negative during the latter portions of this, but I can't just be all positive on this film. I believe constructive criticism is important with a sequel like this, and I want my thoughts heard. I do want this film to succeed as much as you do, but there are some things that are holding it back already. So tell me down in the comments below your thoughts on everything we've seen so far on the Mighty movie, whether it be positive or negative. The more, the better. Thank you all for watching, and as always, I will see you all again next time.